Blessing. Good evening. We'll begin with some meditation, so please find a comfortable posture. So the ultimate goal of Buddhist meditation is to help relieve us from stress and ultimately completely free our minds from the causes of suffering by developing clear knowledge and vision of the way things are. So how do we do that? Well, by developing the kind of qualities that will help us to see what's going on in our mind, in our body, in our mind, and the way we relate to the world around us. So number one quality that we're cultivating is mindfulness, sati. The second quality, which is like a close friend of mindfulness, is sampajanya, clear comprehension or clear awareness of what we're doing from moment to moment. And these two qualities, when we develop them, become the basis for the clear knowledge and vision, because if you're mindful, means you're paying attention. If you're clearly comprehending what you're doing, and you know what you're doing and why, that gives you a chance to notice some things because you're paying attention closely to your own body and mind in the present moment. So how do we cultivate these qualities? Well, we usually pick a meditation object. So in the Buddhist texts we have 40 main objects, although they're not the only meditation techniques or objects you can use, but they're the most common ones, I would say. And the one that is considered to be like the crown or the high point of meditation in terms of technique is the practice of mindfulness directed to the breathing, anapanasati. So recollecting, keeping in mind the in and out breath. How do you know the in and out breath? Well, you have to find a sensation in your body where you can pick up what it feels like as the breath goes in, what it feels like as the breath goes out. So again, perhaps the most common place people do this is by paying attention to the tip of the nostrils. That sensation as the air rushes in and the air rushes out. However, you could find that same feeling, although more subtle, at your chest, as the chest expands and contracts, or at the abdomen, as the abdomen arises and falls. But the aim is to keep the sensation of the breath, the movement of the breath in, movement of the breath out, keep it in mind during the meditation, not forgetting, not losing your way or becoming distracted. However, there are many other qualities you'll need as you do this, because your mind loves to get distracted and wander away. You hear the sounds of other people, and then you start thinking about them instead of watching your breath. You have a thought arise about yesterday or tomorrow, you think about that rather than watch your breath. You have other sensations in the body, such as some pain. You start thinking about that rather than the breath, and so on. There's many things around to distract us. That's why Luang Por Chah said, if you do meditate, then try and find the quietest place you can. It's impossible probably to find a totally silent place in the world, but at least try and find a quiet corner of your house, or in a monastery, or in a park, or somewhere where not too many people are going to bother you by moving around, doing other activities. So that may be setting up too much of a challenge for yourself to concentrate on a subtle thing like the breath if you've got a lot of other kinds of noise and things going on around you. But you can't always control the world, so you try to find the best place you can for your meditation, but then you have to accept there'll always be things going on around you. Even if you do find a very quiet, silent place to meditate, your own mind will provide you with plenty of distraction. Thinking, wondering, doubting, imagining things, liking things, disliking things, endlessly proliferating. This is why we need to be patient and determined to bring attention back to the breath over and over again for the period of the meditation. To really become familiar with the feeling of the breath as it goes in, all the way till it's completely gone in. And then to be familiar with the breath going out, all the way out till it's completely left the body. Your awareness doesn't need to actually follow the breath in and out. Just pick one point and then observe the incoming sensation and then the outgoing sensation. So sometimes they compare it to like a saw. When you're sawing wood, the blade of the saw only contacts the wood that you're sawing in one spot, but the whole saw will move in and out, or back and forth as you saw, but it's only ever contacting the wood at one point. And this is the kind of thing you're doing with mindfulness of breathing, becoming aware of the breath just at one point, bringing your attention there, relaxing, because it's very easy to become tense, even create some uncomfortable feelings by trying too hard. So try to relax, but stay alert. So being alert, paying attention, not forgetting what you're doing is probably the main qualities that you need. And then repetition, a lot of repetition in learning to pay attention to the breath, be mindful of the breath. You get some of these qualities from having some confidence in the Buddha and his teachings. Because when you have confidence in the Buddha or the Dhamma, the Sangha, then you're willing to work with your mind and these different challenges that will come up. You get a certain strength of mind by remembering the Buddha or different teachers such as Ajahn Chah. You remember your teacher, you get a bit of inspiration, strength of mind to keep putting attention back on the breath even if your mind is wandering around. And you also need some wisdom, some understanding of what you're doing and why, so that you can remind yourself of the instructions and the reason why you're meditating and how to meditate, and sometimes to think of ways to deal with particular problems that are coming up. You might have to give yourself a set of instructions. If you're irritated, then you might remind yourself to relax, accept something. If your mind is not peaceful, then just accept it rather than get upset by it. Or if someone else makes a noise when you're meditating, just accept it, because it may be something you cannot do anything about. Or if you have something coming up in your life that brings you anxiety, we'll try to bring your attention back to the breath and see that the anxiety is not going to help. Whatever the problem is, probably only make you feel worse about it. And so on. You can use some wisdom to help guide your mind back to the breath and let go of whatever's bothering you. And then you need effort, and just a lot of effort over and over again to meditate. Bringing your mind to the breath, keeping it there, keep going. So I'll stop talking for the last part of this meditation and just see if you can guide your mind to know the breathing. That's the breath in and the breath out.